Let's start with the daily reality for endurance and tactical athletes. You wake up and you have to make a choice. You can push hard on a day your nervous system is actually exhausted, or you can take a rest day exactly when your body is primed for a breakthrough. Getting that choice wrong has a compounding cost. It leads directly to overtraining syndrome, stall progression, and eventually chronic injury. For coaches and commanders managing entire rosters, this problem scales up. They have to make load management decisions for dozens of individuals at once, usually without any objective window into the actual recovery state of their athletes. Athlete burnout rarely comes from a lack of discipline. It happens because there is a systemic lack of visibility into the autonomic nervous system. Consumer health wearables were supposed to fix this, but while they collect a lot of data, they largely fail athletes at the decision layer. This chart shows how standard wearables typically output data. They generate a daily recovery percentage heavily skewed by single night sleep noise, causing the metric to bounce erratically day by day. When a device outputs erratic numbers that constantly contradict how an athlete physically feels upon waking, the user quickly loses trust in the tool. More noisy data does not solve the mistraining epidemic. Athletes require a definitive action grounded in long-term physiological trends. NeuroMetric MRP is a clinical application built to solve this exact decision deficit by directly measuring the state of the autonomic nervous system. The entire process is a standardized 3.5-minute session. The athlete performs it supine, immediately before rising from bed. It runs on any standard Bluetooth chest strap monitor. There is no proprietary hardware to buy, manufacture, or lock a user into a closed ecosystem. The clinical engine operates on a philosophy called trend primary logic. Instead of comparing morning readings against a generic population average, it evaluates the data against the athlete's own personalized 14-day baseline. By learning an individual's unique biological baseline, the system mathematically separates meaningful physiological deviations from meaningless daily noise. To understand how this works, we have to look at the internal clinical engine. The software extracts its data by measuring the precise millisecond timing between each individual heartbeat. The first metric it captures is resting heart rate, tracking the baseline sympathetic stress load the athlete carries into the new day. Against that, it measures RMSSD. This is the clinical standard for determining parasympathetic tone, answering the immediate question, how recovered am I today? Finally, it calculates HRV-CV, a 7-day stability metric. This acts as a leading indicator, detecting underlying nervous system dysregulation well before surface-level recovery collapses. These metrics are backed by a 40-day consecutive clinical dataset, cross-validated daily against professional medical-grade tools like Kubios and Elite HRV, routinely showing sub-millisecond agreement. This synthesis of 3 metrics provides a predictive view of the nervous system's capacity to adapt. During the clinical trial, the system tracked a single athlete through a complete stress, recovery, and supercompensation arc. Look at the specific morning of June 3rd. A leading reference wearable misread a single low data point and instructed the athlete to rest. This split-screen chart illustrates what MRP saw on that exact same morning. Instead of reacting to one isolated drop on the left, the MRP engine analyzed the 10-day upward trajectory of the athlete's recovery tone, showing a clear move into the supercompensation threshold. Because it read the trajectory, MRP flagged a supercompensation window. The athlete trained hard, and the engine confirmed full physiological adaptation the very next morning. Reacting to daily noise forces athletes to miss their peak performance windows. Trusting the biological trajectory allows them to capitalize on those exact moments. The real value of the NeuroMetric design is it hides all this triple-validated medical data from the end user the moment they wake up. The final output is deliberately simple, an unambiguous traffic light interface that delivers a single clear behavioral instruction. Red means recover, yellow means reduce training volume, green means proceed as planned, and super green flags the supercompensation window, indicating the body is primed for a breakthrough session. Athletes should not have to interpret complex physiological data in bed. They require an instant, objective decision on whether to train hard, go easy, or rest. This clear decision-making tool solves the readiness crisis across the board, serving individual endurance athletes, tactical military operators, and clinical rosters alike. But morning readiness is merely phase 1. It is designed to be the daily habit that anchors a much larger ecosystem, the NeuroMetric suite. This schematic maps out the broader system. That single morning engagement with MRP creates the foundation for phase 2 and phase 3 products, which track real-time exercise thresholds and cognitive load. This clinically validated engine converts raw physiology into a clear instruction, giving athletes the objective clarity they need to win the day.